Welcome to Coffee and Conversation. This is our monthly episode where you get to hear from the What Now movement. I'm your host, Eric Twiggs, President and CEO of the What Now movement. Joining me is Maisha Behoy. She is the Chief Marketing Officer, or whatever she's decided to call herself this week. So
I am the
Maisha,
Buy the What Now Mindset Volume 1 person.
there you go. That's a great title. That's a great title to have. By the
No,
What Now
no one,
mindset.
no one else will have that title. That is your
Right.
title.
There you go. All right. Also joining us is Ted Fells. He is the chief of strategy, the chief strategist for the What Now movement. Also, we're going to have Dr. Sharon H. Porter, our chief or vice president of marketing, is going to be joining us as well. But today our theme is how to slow down to speed up. That's right. That's our theme for today. We're going to really unpack this. It sounds counterintuitive, right? That you can actually slow down and speed up your results. You can speed up your success. You can speed up your happiness, but it's possible. Just stay with us. We're going somewhere with it. But first, we want to make sure we share the backstory of the What Now movement. For those of you who are joining us the first time, you may be wondering how we got to this point. So this all started with myself and Ted Fells and Dr. Sharon H. Porter, and we said that we wanted to work together, and we said we want to join forces. We want to have these sessions in hotels. We want to do conferences where we inspire people to move and become the best versions of themselves. We say, oh, this is going to be great. Let's get some plans together. But then this little thing called the pandemic happened. And we were forced to say or ask ourselves, what now? And we still want to work together, but everything's closed. Hotels are closed. Everything's closed. We still want to work together. And then we said, maybe we should do something virtual. And as we were talking, we just started to notice that people in our circles were having the same story. They were saying that I have this big idea, Eric. I've got this big venture, but you know what? I'm going to wait until things get back to normal. So we said, you know what? That's the last thing people need to do. What people really need to do is ask themselves the question, what now? Then that's when the lights shone down from heaven, and we knew we had an idea. We said, we're going to call this thing the What Now movement. And our mission is to help people to pivot whenever they face a struggle, whenever they face challenge, whenever they face adversity. Don't just stop. The last thing you want to do is stop when you face a challenge or a struggle. You want to ask yourself the question, what now? And you want to say, what strategic pivot can I make? And that's what we've done. We've pivoted. And here we are. We've got the What Now movement, and we've done master classes. We've done a summit. We've got this Facebook group that's got 1,700 plus people. We've got all kinds of things going on just because we decided to pivot. And the question I leave with you is, have you decided to pivot yet? Or are you just waiting for things to get back to normal? So that's the backstory. That's how we got to this point of the What Now movement. And again, our theme for today is to slow down so you can speed up. How do you do that? What is that? Right? So first, I want to talk about, and certainly Maisha and Ted, I'm going to turn this over to you in a second, is slowing down to speed up your strategy. I work with business owners, entrepreneurs who get frustrated, right? Because they say things like, Eric, I am doing everything. I'm doing all the right things to move this business forward, but it's just not happening. I feel like I'm on the hamster wheel. I'm doing this. I'm working. I'm reading the books. I'm going to the conferences. I'm doing the networking, but my business isn't where it wants to be, where I want it to be. So what we've seen is that the problem is we're not slowing down to speed up strategy. Very few people stop and really think and take a strategic perspective. And that's what leads to frustration. So Ted, you're the strategist. So I thought it only fitting that I start you. So Ted, what are your thoughts on it? Let's talk about what can people do, or what do you do to slow down to speed up strategy?
There's so many things that you can do, but sometimes you're forced to slow down, right? And you talk about the pandemic, and that a lot of people came out of the pandemic, went through the pandemic, and did really well with their companies because it forced them to take a moment to stop and think about stuff. Some days, like you said, you're on a hamster wheel. You just start every day the same way. You go through everything that you do throughout the day. And then, it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Like you never really slow down. Whereas what the pandemic forced everyone to do is to stop. And I always say, I kind of go with this approach. It's kind of three steps to it. One, assess, right? Assess the situation. Two, strategize. And then lastly, execute. And it forced them to do that. It forced major government agencies and private sector agencies to be like, okay, folks, let's stop, go home, be safe. And we're going to assess the situation, come up with a strategy, and then execute. And it forces you to actually do something different. It forces you to actually look at, what's really happening now, and coming up with the best ways to move forward, right? Is the best way to move forward to use a virtual platform? Yes. That's what happened then. So sometimes you're forced to slow down, right? For whatever reason, you know. And then sometimes, people, try to plan times like to have, you know, um, retreats and things like that in order to stop and slow down and look at everything and come up, and look at what they're doing and seeing if there's a better way to do it. And so sometimes it's planned and sometimes it's forced. But whenever it is, that you do it, you have to really lean into it and see where you can, implement some efficiencies and do some things better, no matter what it is that you're doing.
Great comments. I mean, you said a couple of things I want to highlight, and we'll call it. People like acronyms. ASE, right? I want to make this easy for people to remember: assess, strategize, and execute. So to do that, like you have to stop and get off the hamster wheel, right? You have to take a minute to really step back and slow down.
Or slow
Yeah,
the hamster wheel down, right? Because sometimes you
right,
can't
right,
just shut your business down, right? You still got to make those sandwiches. Still got to make them
right, right,
omelets,
right.
whatever it is you're doing.
Yeah. So slow down the hamster wheel, but make sure you're assessing the situation, you're strategizing, and when you're strategic, you're being strategic, you're looking at the vision, right? Where is it that I'm really trying to go here, right? Because if you keep doing what you're doing, you'll keep getting what you're getting. No matter how bad you want to go to Florida, if you're going north, that's going to be a problem. You're going to end up in Maine.
Can't seem to find Florida. Can't find it.
Work as hard as you want, but keep going north, you're not going to get to Florida. That's just the way it is.
I'm committed to this thing. I'm out there in the Midwest somewhere.
Right. Absolutely. And then lastly, execute, right? You can at some point you got to do something. You got to take action on the vision and the strategy. So and that is why, like you said, Ted, that a lot of organizations do the retreats because it forces everybody to slow down and get away from the day-to-day grind and then come back with these better ideas. So hopefully people, I mean, there's a reason that Ted is the strategy guy, the chief of strategy for us because I mean that's definitely in his wheelhouse. So hopefully you guys are paying attention to that. So Maisha, what are your thoughts? I mean, you've been running your business for quite some time, and strategy is something that you have to do. So what are your thoughts on that?
So I don't have a formal ASC, but I've always, since I started my Lemonade Stand, I think 2012, and I've always taken the summer, and this is because my parents are teachers, so we always use the summer as a way to reconnect and go on family vacations and get to know our friends. So I've always taken the summer as a time for me to kind of slow down. And what I normally do, and I did with y'all, I took August off, as far as trying to get off that grind. So I take that time, and as we talked about all year, is what did I do? What are the results of what I've done? What can I change? What can I change immediately? And what can I change, for the future? Some of my best ideas, my Start Me Up marketing program, my 30 Days of Sales and Marketing program, adding affiliates, all that came from me just slowing down a little bit, because I know the grind, and the grind is real. I mean, people say that all the time about entrepreneurs. We're constantly going. And even when we are sleeping, our brain is sometimes still going, right? So at 10 years, over 10 years of doing this, my brain knows that it's going to have some time to take a break and think a little bit more about, what we want to do. I do a little bit more reading than I normally done. I try to catch up on some marketing things. Like TikTok is now my new thing. So that is a good time for me to just take a break. It's worked out, even with my clients. They know I'm getting the work done. But that's how I do it. I just can't do the grind 12 months out of the year, 365 days of the year, 24/7. That's never been my personality. And when I finally recognized that and said, you need to take some time to slow down in order for you to figure out where you want to go for the rest of the year. And my year starts in the summer, obviously. That's what I do.
Awesome.
And as Ted noticed, I had some great ideas at our last strategy meeting.
No, you did. You did. And we could tell you took some steps to really figure that out. So it sounds like assessment is a big part. So when you go on vacation, what have you, it sounds like a big part of what you do is assess kind of what's currently working and what's not.
Yeah, so we're always constantly assessing what's working. But for me, let's see, whatever time frame I choose, sometimes we go on family vacations in July. It's really looking at the bigger picture, right? It's the bigger goals that I had. It's did I hit the revenue number that I set out in the morning? It's not really the small stuff. It's like the big overall, okay, here's what I said I was going to do. I was going to add 200 more clients, 200 more people to our database. I was going to do all this stuff. Okay, but why didn't you? Or why did it work? So it's really big picture stuff than the small stuff, because we are doing assessments that we talk about on Coffee and Conversation. We're doing that all the time, but it's really taking a big look at where I am and where I want to go and what's my strategy for, the next few years. For instance, I just talked to you about Amari's in community college. So even though I saved money, I don't think I have enough for his last 2 years. So how do I get there? Or do I make him pay for it because, kids being who they are today? But that's a big question that I had to say to myself. What is the plan for Amari for the last 2 years of school? How do I make that work? So things like that.
Fantastic. I mean, another example of slowing down to speed up. And I have a mentor that taught me this little assessment strategy, and he does this every day, and it's something I need to get back into doing. He calls it the PIN technique. Again, more acronyms. One of the themes of this show is using acronyms to help you move forward because it makes things easy to remember. But he calls it the PIN, PIN. So you slow down, you take a moment of your day to reflect on, okay, what was positive from the day, right? What worked? What are some of the things that I need to keep doing? And then what was interesting? What was something that really, wow, that was interesting. I didn't expect that. Okay. And then what was negative? What it could be, hey, I didn't get the contract. I didn't accomplish what I thought I was going to accomplish. But he has this daily habit. And he says it takes him 10 to 15 minutes. It's something I was doing years ago, but quite honestly, since we're talking about this now and we're talking about slowing down to speed up, that sounds like something I'm going to get back into myself.
I'm doing the same thing, Eric. So years ago, I was diagnosed with colon cancer. And that's a crazy time to go through, But I found this gratitude journal that a friend gave me years ago. Of course, I never filled it out. But in that journal, it has all the things you just said, right? What are you grateful for? What's your prayer for the day? What's a motivating quote? So even though I still can't take the time to do it, I started to add meditation to my daily practice, because if I can zone out, as you talked about, if you can zone everything out in the world, slow that down a little bit, who knows what will come from there, what ideas will come from there. Started to write down and asking my family, what are we grateful for? Because we're also in go mode. We're getting up, dishes, getting ready, all the, okay, let's take a moment and talk about what are the things that we're happy for. My mom just had a health scare, so we're happy that she is now up and running back to her normal way. So things like that, I think, help us not just accomplish stuff in business, but accomplish stuff in our personal life as well. So I don't have pen, but I'm using my gratitude journal as a way to slow down a little bit during the morning.
I think one thing is, I think you just have to find what works for you, right? So some people, they're not going to have, they know they're not going to have this 10-step process that they're going to sit down and do in the morning every day. That's not you. You rather sleep. You rather sleep a little longer. You just got to figure out what's going to work for you, so that you at least have an opportunity to make sure the things that are important to you, that you are being as, being as efficient or productive with those things as possible. Like, I can think of this, there's some people that may work for you, and they're like, I come to work and I just work 9 to 5, whether I accomplish any of these goals or not. I'm just here, I'm sitting down, I'm doing some stuff, right? I'm doing some things, and I can tell you, I made some calls, I talked to some people, I sent some emails, and then a month goes by, and next month comes, they making some calls and they talking to some people, and then, quarter one goes by, and then, did you close anything? Well, but no, but you say something, but it's not that I'm not trying. I've made some calls, I've sent out some emails, I've done some things, but if it's not coming down, like you're not accomplishing some goals, then what do you need to do to accomplish the goals? You got to slow down and look at this, because just doing doesn't mean you're actually getting done what you're trying to get done. And so that's when, again, you got to slow down and look at that and be like, what's this really about? Am I really pushing what I'm setting out to do here? And again, if it's not that important to you, if you still get that check every 2 weeks, whether you accomplish it or not, which is what happens often here. I come in here every day. You see me trying to do some stuff. I'm not just sitting around. Yeah, but you got some numbers you need to meet. Or we got some, some things that we need to develop. And if that's not happening, we need to slow down and see how we can achieve what we need to achieve. I don't pay you just to be here to do some stuff.
Absolutely. We can't confuse activity with achievement, right? Just
right.
Because you're active doesn't mean you're getting things done, getting the right things done. That's why there's value in slowing down. And then, Maisha, I want to go back to you talking about the gratitude journal. The studies show that 80% of the average person's self-talk is negative, right? Good thing about it, right? The brain is trying to protect you. So that, what if this happens? What if that happens? Oh my God, I can't believe that happened. Blah, 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 blah. Your self-talk is mostly negative, and to offset that, you have to do what Maisha said. Focus on your gratitude. When you slow down, think about the things that don't cost money that you're grateful for. That'll really shift your perspective, and that'll put you in a better position to strategize when you're in that positive mindset. Because otherwise, and I've been there. Otherwise, you'll be like, oh, this isn't going to work. Here we go. Oh my goodness. So
don't you hate that? Don't you hate that though? When you're around people and they're like, yeah, but did you think this? We tried that before. We don't have this. But I tell people all the time, and you've heard me say this, is the easiest thing in the world to do is to do nothing. So nothing doesn't even require any trying. If you've already psyched yourself out that you're not going to be successful in whatever it is that you're going to do, then you just find a way to justify to do nothing and to pass on from that, and not even to try, so.
But I'm sorry, you said that 80%, there's a study that says 80% of the self-talk that we give ourselves is negative?
Is negative. The average person.
So our brain is protecting us from what?
Well, so your brain is designed to protect you from threats. It's scanning the environment for threats. It's the region of your brain is called the amygdala, right? And it's always scanning the environment, looking for possible threats. There's a book, Dr. Shad
What is it?
Hemstetter.
The amygdala? What was it?
It's the amygdala, it's the region of the brain. It's
That
scanning.
Dr. Twigs came with that one. And he just ran into it. It's the amygdala. I was like, yeah, Lee, what is
He
going
was
on?
preaching this morning, and now we
Yeah.
got the blah blah blah.
So the amygdala region of the brain, and there's a book by Dr. Shad Hemstetter, What You Say When You Talk to Yourself, and he breaks out this research, and it's all over the place. So your brain is trying to keep you safe. We have to know that, right? The question is, do you want to be safe or do you want to be successful? Your brain is wired to keep you safe, but you have a lot of times when you're stepping outside the box, you have to take certain risks.
That is amazing, amazing, amazing. Explains so much, right? All these people you have around you that are Debbie Downers, who you're like, good Lord, all I said was I'm gonna go to the store and buy something, and you're telling me I'm gonna get hit by a car on the way. Where did that come from, right? So I wonder if this is another person we got to get on this show, right? If entrepreneurs' brains are wired a little bit differently, right? Because we're constantly telling ourselves we can do it sometimes, and we are moving forward on this path. Just the thought of stepping out and saying you're going to start something, whether it's a business, a podcast, or writing a book, is having faith in yourself. And then you're saying, my brain is telling me, no, girl, you can't do that. That is crazy. I can't wait to Google all that stuff. That's crazy to me.
That's why, things like what you said, Maisha, the gratitude journal, reading, getting in networks with people who are positive, who are and people that a lot of times people that have the result you want, they're going to talk you out of it. If I'm going to, like, for example, if I said, hey, I'm going to start an IT company, Ted, what do you think? Is he going to say, oh, no, Eric, I don't think you should do it? He's going to be like, absolutely. I'm doing it. I've been doing it for the last 26 years. Here's what you need to think about. So you really need that. That's the key. And we talked before about the power of association, but that helps with that whole thing. But yeah, you want to slow down so you can speed up, but make sure you're in that positive mindset and do what Maisha said with the gratitude.
Train your brain.
It's interesting. In my company now, I got these 3 young guys, right? Like 2 are like, they're all under 30, 2 are like 22, and 1 is like maybe like 26. And there's nothing that we're not going to accomplish. It doesn't matter. What we're going to do next year? We're doing 100 million. Okay. Well, that's what we're going to do. Yep. And we're going to have $100,000 salaries next year. Okay. All right. Like, to meet with them is so much fun. It's so much fun. But then you get into the meetings with other folks, and it's like, oh, we don't have past performance in that. Well, you see the due date of that. Oh yeah, and I tell them, but going back to the entrepreneur side, and I was telling people, I said, look, there was a time I didn't have past performance in anything. Right. As an entrepreneur, like, I didn't have anything. Like, okay, do you have this certification? No. How many years of business you been in? Just started a business. Do you have past performance in this? No. Like, do you have any money? Do you have any? No. The answer to all that was no. But as an entrepreneur, that didn't stop you. And so when you get into a room full of entrepreneurs, like the 3 of us, right, the conversations go different. It's never like, well, we can't, right? It's okay. We focus on trying to figure it out, right, versus some non-entrepreneurs. Like these, like, again, some folks are just like, hey, I'm going to do some stuff here, but I'm not going to stretch myself. I'm not going to push myself to think about this anymore. With the young guys, we're just like this. Let's do it. We're going to take over the world. We're going to take Newport to the next level. And it's just, so yeah, it's somewhere you start to learn, right? You start having some disappointments. Because I think some of those guys, they were probably like that when they were young, right? But I do think some of the kids today are built differently, right?
I was going to say, the kids today, they're either like multi-millionaires from one channel, you can't tell them anything.
You can't tell them.
The complete opposite and won't get a job.
That's it. One or two. I'm going to sit with these video games. and I'm gonna figure it out. But right now, I'm gonna get through these games.
The world, and that's
I'm
so
good.
great, right? That's so.
Can you make me a
great.
grilled cheese? Like I'm good. I'm good. That's it.
That is what's so great about the younger generation, and so frustrating at the same time. As you can tell, I'm dealing with that almost daily.
That's
so
right.
sorry.
That's right. That's right. It's funny. I listen to a lot of people that have younger, people, and just the type of stuff that they deal with. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave school and I'm gonna open up this, and I'm gonna be successful at it. Well, why don't you stay in school and open up that at the same time? No, I'm gonna get on IA. I know how to do that. I know what I'm doing.
Love
You know,
it.
it's interesting
Love
you
it.
say that, right? That Ted, you and I talk about this all the time. That the folks in college, the folks that are right out of college, they take the network marketing and they kill it.
Kill it.
They've got like 1,000 people in their downline. But some of the older folks, like our age, our mindset is totally different, right? It's, oh, that won't work. I tried that before. Oh no, people don't want this and that, but they don't know. They don't know. Oh, people don't want to do that, so they just go at it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it.
And we talked about on a previous episode, that's why it's good to have that diversity in your organization. Mm-hmm. You need some people in your organization that don't know that you have to have past performance.
Yeah.
They don't know that customers don't buy during this time of year. They don't know that. They
don't worry about it. They don't worry about it. They just ask the question. Like I told you, one of the guys, he came on and he said, man, you see this opportunity? There's an $800 million opportunity with the Air Force. I said, 800 million. Everybody else, oh, nope, all the big companies are going to be going after that. Nope, we're not going to. Like, they can quickly run through why you can't. Right. And what I said is, I'm like, okay, like, I don't want to kill that. I want you to always be a whale hunter, right? I want you to always be thinking that you can take it out because, so, I saw something online.
800 million.
Yeah, I saw this guy online as a company, and he won I don't know if it's like a $13 billion contract or something like that. And some people wouldn't have even gotten to that point because they're just like, we just can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
got to slow down so you can speed up.
Yeah.
You have to have the right mindset. You have to surround yourself with people with that mentality. Your organization, get you some Gen Z and millennial folks who
they told me that one of the guys told me the other, he said, it just frustrates me when the people are in the meetings and they're so negative. And I said, that's okay. That's just like they get mad. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean we can't do this? What do you mean? Why are you stopping it before we try?
Yeah. And even if you're older, even if you're Generation X, you can still have the right mindset. Just because you're older doesn't mean you have to be negative. It's right. All in your perspective, and just taking time to slow down and be grateful and focus on the positive things. So it's time for our coffee break.
Oh man, where's Dr. Sharon?
Wow.
Sorry, water.
I'll tell you. Coffee or water, whatever works for you.
It's so funny. That water is becoming, I see it everywhere. I cannot wait to see how that brand blows up. I saw it 4 different places in one day. And I'm like, I never heard of this water, and now it's everywhere. So we need to get them as a sponsor.
That's right.
Yeah. We got to talk to them. So this coffee break is sponsored by the What Now Mindset book. And I guess, Maisha, that's part of your title now. So
I was hoping Dr. Sharon was going to be on because I don't have a copy of the book. So I am use your imagination and go to our website to buy the What Now Mindset book, Volume 1. And what Dr. Sharon and Dawn did was pull together stories from 8 to 10 authors, I'm not sure, who had moments of crisis, moments of, I want to say, terrible things that happened in their life. And they had to decide what now. They had to decide what they were going to do because, stopping wasn't an option. So what were they going to do to continue? So in the What Now Mindset, which again is available on our website, thewhatnowmovement.com, you can hear these stories about these courageous, perseverance, authentic women who had moments in their life where they had to decide what they were going to do to move forward from some major things in their life. On September 16th, the What Now movement is going down to support one of the authors, Lori Curtis, because she's having a book signing. So you can also find that information on our website as well. So buy the What Now mindset, get your mind right, get rid of that negativity in our brain that our own brain is telling us that we can't do it. The What Now mindset volume 1 will help you decide that you can.
Fantastic. Everybody needs to go out and get a copy of that book, The What Now Mindset. I mean, everything starts with a mindset, how you think. And that's why we've been spending so much time talking about that on this first half of Coffee and Conversation. Thank you for sharing that, Maisha. Now I see why you got that What Now Mindset title. I mean, that was perfectly explained, let me tell you.
Yeah, it's really, we had them on the business summit, and when you listen to those stories, you're like, oh my gosh. So the capacity for us as humanity to persevere is astounding. And I think that's what the book captures.
For sure. So we're talking about slowing down to speed up. We talked about slowing down to speed up your strategy. Next, I want to talk about slowing down to speed up recovery, right? And we're in this society where it's all about the grind, right? Everybody, you look at these little videos, they say, oh, you got to grind. You got to outwork everybody. Oh, you got to get up at 3 a.m. and you got to grind. You got to keep working. You won't outwork me. Oh, I'm going to be the hardest worker in the room. But we don't put enough focus on rest and recovery. And just one of the things, and I'll throw this out to you guys as well, here lately, just from the reading I've done, I'm putting a lot of emphasis on sleep, right? So I think it's key. You have to know how much sleep you need. I don't think there's one answer for everybody. Your doctor can probably help you with that. But one of the things I realized for myself, like I've got a good, better, best system for sleep, right? So here's how it goes, right? So I have a watch. First off, I have a smartwatch that helps me to track my sleep. It's a Fitbit. There's others out there. This isn't a Fitbit commercial unless they want to become a sponsor. Then it will become a Fitbit commercial. But no. So it helps you to track. So for me, if I can get 6 hours of sleep, for me, that's good. 7 hours is better. 8 is great. And literally, like I can tell within myself, like I'm getting to a point now, like how I feel when I wake up in the morning, I can almost tell exactly how much sleep I got. I've been focused on this so much. And when I have 6, I mean, it comes across, and you will notice that as well. And sometimes when I've got like 4 hours of sleep, oh man, it's like I'm just off. It's just like I just can't get it together. But it's all about being proactive and prioritizing recovery, and sleep is a part of this. Other things, other ways to rest, exercise, those types of things as well. But that is so important. You have to slow down for that. And there's like LeBron James. We all know who he is. NBA player, considered one of the greatest of all time. Google him if you don't. But he spends $1 million a year just on recovery. You wonder why is it that he's playing for 20 years plus, but that he invests $1 million a year in just recovery tactics, special beds, all that other stuff. So, Maisha, I'll throw it to you. What are some things that you do to intentionally recover?
So the sleep is crucial for me. I was trying to do the 7 days a week, work 24/7, take time. It was crazy. And I can't maintain that, and I don't even want to. So I try to get I guess my good is 7. I can function on 6, but if I get to 5, I'm like I'm like, what in the world? You can just tell I just in a bad mood. So sleeping for me, and a way for me to get sleep is incorporating exercise into my routine. So if I get a great night's sleep, I can get up, go do my walk. I've started adding some strength and muscle stuff to my routine. And I really think that helps me recover, because it's also for me, as you heard me say before, time to slow down. Not that I'm I'm power walking, but my brain is focused. So that's what I do for recovery. And I no longer work 7 days a week. I try to do 6. And it's either Saturday or Sunday, depending on what's going on. But I no longer do 7. They say even the Lord rested, so why do I need to work 7 days a week? You're on mute, Eric.
Yeah, forgive the delay. I was trying to unmute and it wasn't.
With your new
unmuting.
microphone and everything.
That's right. So you've noticed a measurable difference in like your performance results since you started focusing on recovery?
I've always, so these things are not new. They're new to our audience. They're not new to me. So these are things I've always incorporated because I just, like Ted said, I just know myself, right? I know when I'm at my peak, and I know what I can, when ideas are flowing, I know what I know myself after a few years, after knowing yourself, but after 10 years of being an entrepreneur and being successful some places and not successful other places, I kind of know what I need to tweak. So for me, it's not a matter of recovery. It's a matter of the little tweaks I need to do to get to peak performance, or recognizing, okay, you're not going to be at peak today. Sometimes you need to just stop. Because sometimes my brain is going so fast that I'm not relaxed and I'm not performing. I'm just typing. So yeah, I do this all the time. Self-care, if that's the word, self-care.
Absolutely. So it's interesting because Maisha, you're better off than I was because I'm like your typical type A personality, and it took me a while to figure this out because like literally I had this thing. Okay, I'm gonna wake up at 4:30 in the morning. That was always my thing, and then so sometimes I'd go to bed at midnight or something like that just for various reasons, and I still say nope, I'm waking up at 4:30, and I couldn't figure out why my day wasn't going as well. It took a while. And so the takeaways with some of the other type A people that feel like, you can just always work. You need to really pay attention to what Maisha just said and what we're saying here and slow down and really schedule in priority. I mean, there's a reason these athletes have off season. So Ted, go ahead.
I'm terrible at the whole recovery and sleep thing. I'm terrible at it. I just try to put all this stuff in, cram it all in, and then try to, like, man, okay, I'm gonna get up for this class to work out at 4 o'clock in the morning, but then I might be in the office until 9 o'clock. All right. So then you come in the office at 9, and by the time you get home, you're eating something late, you start trying to go through some stuff, settle down a bit, and then you get into bed and it's 12. Between 12 and getting up at 4, like I hear Maisha say, man, if I hit 5 hours of sleep, I'm really off. If I hit 5 hours of sleep, I'm really great. Because my body, I'll wake up, my body wakes up and it's just like, wait, 5 hours? What are you doing here? And then, sometimes you'll wake up, you wake up sometime, you just be like, you don't know what day it is. You don't know what's going on. Am I supposed to be here? Supposed to be there? What's my schedule? You just be thrown off. So I have to do better at that and kind of organizing stuff. The one thing that I think I'm getting better at is just kind of controlling, requests around me. I will tell you no.
Good.
I will tell you no. I will tell you I can't do that because everybody wants you to do certain things that, that they want you to do. And I'm not going to do that. No, I'm not going to go there. No, I got to be able to manage, my time. My time is my time because other people will have you doing a bunch of stuff that they want you to do, and for me, it's like those things are not priority. If it's not priorities for me today, did you take care of such and such? No, I didn't get to that today because I had these other 10 things that are priorities for me today. And I think managing your own time, is key. Now, there's some things that you're forced to do. I know if you have kids and things like that, you're forced to do things, but to the best of your ability, try to manage, your time. And unfortunately, sometimes people are going to be upset with you, and not going to be pleased that whatever it is that they want you to make a priority or to squeeze into a time that you don't do. they'll be okay.
You know, Eric, one thing I found interesting, going back to managing your time, what Ted was saying, like when I worked full time, I lived by the alarm clock. Like snooze, I had to. I haven't used an alarm clock in 10 years. My
Mm.
brain, especially if I got a good night's sleep, I wake up, I know exactly what my day is gonna look like. I can get everything done, and my brain says, "Okay, Maisha, it's time to wake up and start your day positively." So I think that's interesting. I think if Ted can shift maybe his time a little bit more, he'll see that he will get more done because he's had a full night's sleep, because your brain is going to start to be wired to, this is the time for us to start today's journey. This is the time for us to get things done. And my brain already has my to-do list working. It's like, oh, you're going to get up, exercise, you're going to be, et cetera, et cetera. But I thought it was very interesting that I no longer use an alarm clock unless I'm exhausted. And that's rare these days.
You hit on something there, Maisha. I think is just just knowing when you're really even being productive. Sometimes you just stay in the office, and at a certain point, you're like, am I really being productive, or am I just sitting here longer? Right? Am I just sitting here longer, or I'm going to take this stuff home? Matter of fact, I'm going to take it up in my room, and I'm going to open up the laptop. Why am I taking those bags upstairs? You're not going to take them up there. And even if you do something, even if you try to open it up, you're going to go to bed. You're going to fall. You're going to fall asleep. So it's not even. You just got to know what's that real productive time. I mean, if it's just 6 hours out the day and you just kill it during that time, then after that, you can do those other things so that you can stop your day early enough to do your workout, or or get into bed earlier. Then I think that's what you need to do to really ensure that you're being as productive as necessary.
Now, great points. And Dr. Sharon H. Porter has joined us. Welcome, Dr. Sharon.
Great morning, everyone.
All right.
Dr. Sharon with the breakfast this morning. Dr. Sharon had a good breakfast this morning. She just gonna roll up in here. She done had brunch. And she is ready.
Great conversation. I'm hearing it.
All right. So we'll circle you in here in just a second.
Sure.
But a couple of things. One thing I want to hit on that Ted mentioned is just saying no to these other requests, because that can give you more time to spend in recovery. Because there's something that's called the excellence trap, right? When especially as you start to get better, you start to get out there, people start recognizing that you're excellent at certain things. So they're going to ask you, you'll get more opportunities, right? But you have to know up front that opportunities are coming your way. People are going to ask you to chair the committee, to lead this, to lead that, to work on this, to work on that. But you have to be prepared to say no. And I teach people to, don't make a to-do list. Well, you make a to-do list, but make a don't-do list, right? Think about ahead of time the things that you aren't going to do if it comes to you. And just know up front, people are going to come to you. And you really just have to protect that time. And I'll just tell people, that sounds like a great opportunity, but honestly, I don't have the bandwidth right now.
No, you're right, because time is time. No matter what the task is, it could be the smallest thing. Are you coming to the HOA meeting this evening? No, I'm not going to be at the HOA meeting. I know you guys are talking about some really important things. I know we need to do something about this grass, but I think y'all got that.
Or you just use Ted approach. Just say, no, I'm not doing that. That works.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think people
as you know, I had to scale down my volunteer opportunities. One, it was just time, and two, I'm just like, I wasn't giving it my all anymore, right? Because it became a task of something for me to do, and not something that I felt in my heart that I wanted to do. And that has freed up my time considerably to work on other things that have become important to me. So yeah, saying no is crucial. Although I miss my people. I hope to see y'all soon.
Yeah, I mean, you're saying no to the request. You're really not saying no to the individual. It's not a personal thing. It's just you got to keep that in mind.
That person not looking at it, he not speaking to you no more because you
Right.
said no. Oh, yeah, oh, he didn't want to chair the committee. I ain't fooling Eric no more.
Right.
Yeah, very important. So Dr. Sharon, I want to bring you in at this time. We're talking about slowing down, the speed up. We're talking about recovery. Like we talked about getting rest and exercise and those things that really help you to recharge and recover. What's your perspective on it? What are some things that you do to recover?
Yeah, and I love everything that you said, but I think the number one you hit it is saying no. That's the first thing that I had to learn. No, it really is because you try to do so much and you just don't have the time. And so I think I've said this before, but truly at this point, it's got to make me better, happy, or make me money. Got to hit those three bullets. And so, so if it doesn't hit those three bullets, the answer is no. And that's not like a mean no, right? It's just like it just doesn't fit with what I'm doing right now. And so that's the short of it. And so for me, that's just keeping everything in line, and if you time block, like we always say, put everything on the calendar, your time, whatever you have to do, then it's very easy. Let me check my calendar. Nope, I got something on there, whether that's sitting home and doing nothing. If that's on your calendar, your time is blocked at that time. And so you can say that with assuredness. So for me, that's the biggest one for me.
All right. So I don't know, y'all. I feel another acronym coming on.
I already say it's time for another acronym.
I feel another one coming on here, Ted. BHM. So
It's
if you get a request, it's got to either make you better, which is the B. It's got to make you happier, or it's got to make you money.
That's it.
I love it.
If it's outside of BHM, don't do it. I'm sorry, Maisha, what were you going to say?
I said, I love it. I'm all in on BHM. That will be my thing. Oh, is it going to make me happy?
Right.
Is it going to make me better? And last, but not least, am I going to make money?
Yeah, because some people,
and the thing is, and it really depends, because not everything that makes money is gonna make you happy, right? So just because it makes you money doesn't mean that okay, I'm gonna do it. But it's so it's you gotta make sure it hits every one of those things for you.
For sure.
Yeah, a lot of times, you'll have people that are your friends or whatever that'll reach out to you about certain things they may want to do after work on a day, right? Oh yeah, this concert or whatever, someplace, and da-da-da. And I'm sitting there thinking that's something that's gonna make them happy. You is gonna cause frustration,
right?
Because you're trying to figure out how am I gonna stop my day, get to this place that you want to get to by 6 o'clock, right? Because that's gonna make you happy. That's what you want. Now I'm not saying sometimes you don't find ways to do that kind of stuff, but some people try to have you doing that kind of stuff every week,
right? And
you just don't have that type of a schedule to be able to do that stuff and fit in that recovery time and sleep and all those different things, because stuff like that will kind of throw you off a bit. So you got to look at that and be able to manage that yourself. And sometimes those people, they're gonna get upset with you. You always say no about going to such a. It's okay. That's all right. They're your friends. They like you, love you, whatever. They'll work with you because they know that, you're trying to do some of the things that, for your BHM. Yeah.
Oh my God. And sleep is important. I know. And I think y'all were talking about that prior to me coming on. And knowing I heard your productivity time, like mine is the morning. I'm a 3 a.m. riser, right? And so, but in order to do that, I've got to go to bed. Like, I've got to go to bed. Like, there's no way, I can function, especially working a 9 to 5. So that 3 to 5, that's like my time before I'm up and ready and out the door at 6 to go to my building.
So what time do you go to bed, Doctor?
I try to be in the bed between 8 and 9 o'clock. I have to be.
Wow.
I have to be. Because and I don't wake up with an alarm. It's just automatic. I'm up at 3 o'clock. And so, but that's what I get so much done. Because in the evening, I'm done. I can't do anything.
Yeah. And here's a little known secret. I mean, we talk about saying no. People respect people who communicate boundaries.
Yeah.
Right. So you think you're alienating them, but deep down they respect you. And they know that they can't try to pull you into things and all this and that because you have certain boundaries and people respect that. I just think that's so important.
Some will still try. They'll still try. They'll be there. Yeah, they'll still try to squeeze you. Might you know some people, your friends, that come in like, yeah, but you know, we're gonna be down there at 5:30 and say 5:30.
Yeah, and so especially being single, right? The thought sometimes of having to stop what I'm doing, get dressed, get in the car, drive.
That's overwhelming. It's overwhelming. It's overwhelming. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Be in traffic, look for parking.
Oh my God.
I've been thinking all day, and now I got to strategize about this, and this is not really something I want to do. I'm not going to be able to do it.
I have said a many of no's to DC events because parking stresses me out.
Who wants that? DC
stresses me out. Parking and red light tickets stress me out.
Yeah. So thank God for Uber and Lyft. But then I'm like, do I want to really spend $40 to go have fun?
That's right. Because it may not make you happy. This is going to make the people around you happy. You might be good.
Right.
Absolutely. So all good things to think about when we're talking about slowing down so you can speed up. We're coming down the home stretch of this episode. Last, I'm going to talk quickly on slowing down to speed up your creativity. And I'm reminded of a story I heard about Napoleon Hill. So Napoleon Hill is the author of Think and Grow Rich, one of the best-selling books in the history of books. And when he was writing the book, he was up against a deadline to come up with a title. And he just couldn't come up with a title. And the publisher just kept rejecting everything he came up with. Oh, that's a terrible idea. No, I don't like that. You need to come up with a title by tomorrow morning. And he's like, oh my goodness. And so he went and took a nap. He said, I'm going to slow down. He went and took a nap. And then when he woke up, he says the idea for Think and Grow Rich was just on his mind. He just couldn't shake it. But it didn't come to his mind until he rested. But when he was struggling, it didn't come to him. But once he rested, Think and Grow Rich, and the rest is history. So there's something to be said for slowing down to improve your creativity. And you'll find if you're doing a creative endeavor like books, blogs, podcasts, anything like that, slowing down is critical. So I'll throw this, Dr. Sharon, I'll throw this back at you. What are some things you do to slow down and speed up your creativity?
So, you know, it's funny that you ask. I draw creativity alone. You know, some people like think tanks and masterminds and groups and things like that. I am more innovative and creative when I sit with myself, with my thoughts. And it helps in journaling things out. I'm a big journaler. I'm a big writer. And I first of all, I write every day. And so some of the things that come out of my thoughts come through the paper, right? And so I always go back and highlight the things that just come. So that's one of my practices for innovation, for creativity. The next step would then be to then go to someone, but the initial creativity for me comes from within. So I just like to be alone with myself, 3 o'clock in the morning, sitting, thinking, reading, and writing, and then stuff just comes. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to find time to do all this stuff that I'm thinking about. So that's my creative mode.
Creativity, slowing down, taking time to be with yourself. Now, I think that's key. Thank you for sharing that. Maisha?
So I read, and I read fiction, I read biographies, I'll read business books, and I notice that when I do, I as y'all know, I normally have a piece of paper or something next to me. Ideas come to me, and it's so funny. Recently, like poems are coming to me just because of everything that's happening with the world. But reading is one way for me not to have other distractions, but still allow me to, I guess, envelop myself in the words that I'm reading. And that's where a lot of my ideas come from.
Reading, good. Taking time to read, and I agree with you, Maisha. A lot of times I'll read things, and I may be having a conversation with a client. All of a sudden, that thing I read just starts coming to mind, and it's the exact solution for that person. But it wouldn't have happened if we hadn't taken that slow down time to make sure we're reading and filling up our tank. Ted?
No, I think for me, it's just always good if I can just get to a position where I can just whiteboard. Like if I have someone with me that will allow me just think and throw stuff out, and they just put it on the board, help me to capture it. I think that works well. I've thought, like, man, it would be great if I just started scheduling some time to get away for a couple of days, but have someone there that could, during those sessions, right, that could just capture stuff for me. Maybe as a part of that day, maybe I line up time to just get some sleep and get a massage, and then during this period of time of these couple hours, just have someone that could just let me just throw stuff out there, because I think that's just the way I work best, is when I can just throw stuff out there, because it just, I think, things just kind of come together for me like that when I can just stop for a moment. So I think that's something I'm going to institute, right? Because again, you can go, but then you still realize that you're not getting the results by go. So you got to think of some way to, I think that the good thing about these types of discussions that we have every month is it's helpful. It's helpful for me because it just makes me think about this. So I hope it's helpful to our viewers and listeners, but it's helpful to me to just think about this and hear what other people are doing, and try to BHM.
That's
Dr.
right.
Sharon comes in the last 10 minutes and now we just changed the whole book.
Just roll in and just drop an acronym. I just finished brunch, so I'm gonna come in here and drop this BHM acronym up here. Yeah. Do what you do. Do what you do with it. Do what you do. Do what you do.
Drop the mic and keep moving. There you go.
That's how the doctor.
That's how she rolls.
That's how
All
you do.
right. Now, this has been a fantastic episode. This is one, I know you may be listening right now on the 30-minute hour podcast platform, Apple Podcast, Spotify, one of those places. You just want to hit rewind and go back through the different acronyms that we left you and see how it can help you to slow down, to speed up. We've talked about ASE, assess, strategize, and execute. We've talked about PIN, positive, what's interesting, what's negative. That's when you're looking at your day and you're reflecting so you can be better. We've talked about BHM, which seems to be everybody's favorite, right?
That's right.
Better.
It just makes us happy. Makes us smile every time we hear it.
That's right. You get an opportunity. Someone wants to ask you to chair a committee or what have you. Is this going to make me better? Is it going to make me happier? Is it going to make me money?
I'll pass. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to be able to do this. So, if Dr. Sharon says no, she says it's not going to make her better. It's not going to make her happy. It's not going to make her no money. So I'm out.
Man, I think that's what we're trying to all strive for. If you really think about it, right? That's career or job. That's how we all should. Because if it can make us money and we're happy and better, that's nirvana right there.
Right.
For sure. Well, again, we thank you for joining us. And don't forget to pick up a copy of the What Now Mindset book. Pick up your copy. Dr. Sharon, do you have a copy nearby that you can show the people who are watching us?
All right. No, does it make her happy, better, or money?
Dr. Sharon just got back from brunch. She was not thinking about the What Now Mindset book.
Just trying to get in before 11.
Right,
I did a BHM assessment, so no.
No. We ain't thinking about that. I don't have the book around right now. Come on, we'll show them. But it's out there, though.
All right.
Look at that. There's the book. What a beautiful book it is.
With her notes.
That's right.
That's right.
That's what it looks like.
That's funny. So yes,
all right, good.
Make her happier, better, and money.
Yes.
Go to our website and purchase.
Absolutely. We mentioned the website. the whatnowmovement.com. Make sure you go to the website. You can also subscribe to our YouTube page. You'll be able to see the summit that's going to be parked there, and all the great content that we have. You'll see past episodes of Coffee and Conversation. So make sure you go to the What Now Movement YouTube page and subscribe so you can see all of this great video content. Maisha, anything else we need to share with the people before we sign off?
For those of us or you that are in the DMV, that will be September 16th, where the What Now Movement is doing the Lori Curtis book signing. We hope to see you out there. You'll be able to purchase a copy in person and hear from 2 authors, I believe. Lori and I forgot the other one's name, Dr. Sharon. But September 16th.
Stephanie. Yep.
Stephanie. And details are on the What Now Movement website.
All right.
And those that are not in the DMV area, the DMV is DC, Maryland, Virginia.
Oh.
I know we got folk out there in India. They're like, DMV.
Where is this DMV?
Where's this DMV?
DC metropolitan area, aka DMV.
See, we just threw another acronym at you. DMV.
I got one. Yay!
All right. So that concludes this month's episode of Coffee and Conversation. And until next time, have a great one.
Everybody.